from Back to Greenland News. Today we have a breaking news story for you. Now over to my colleague David Chapman, reporting live from the town of Kangerlussuaq in Greenland. David?
So there's a lot of dangerous chemicals out here in this scrapyard. Dangerous to the local environment, to the local wildlife, but incredibly dangerous because they're right next to water sources. They're right next to this fjord, which will have water coming into it over the year and out into the ocean. This was completely pristine landscape. We as humans have completely wrecked certain parts of it. We've got a responsibility to clean it up. So this site is where the locals bring all of their waste to be just burnt. As you can see, it's just open to the elements. And one of the issues with this is the wind, which is strong in this area, just carries the waste. And as it burns, the hot air as well lifts it higher so it can fly further. One of the issues with the incineration process is that they don't do it in any form of container, and the winds around this area get very strong, and all the litter, especially the light plastics, just end up being blown up the valley. As you can see here, we've got a lot of plastic bags that have just been blown around. So over in this pile of rubbish that has been recently added, ready to be just incinerated right here, we've got a lot of cans and a few electricals as well that could very easily be recycled, but they do not have the ability here, and the government has not provided them with a way of getting them out of the area to be recycled. Just found through this pile, didn't search for it too much, and in most other countries we wouldn't have even been able to get to this area, but we've got brand new bulbs, energy saving bulbs, which are perfectly fine, no issue with, and they've gone straight into a patch that will be burnt soon. We've also got some fantastic clothing and Timberland boots, which look perfectly fine, no issues. A little bit of a scuff at the front, but if they'd just been given to somebody else would have been able to reuse them. So the other thing that we found in this trash yard is items for building, such as loft insulation. There are also cylinders as well. These items are likely to contain asbestos. So asbestos is little particles that can be carried out on the wind from here, and are very bad for human health. They cause things like mesothelioma, which is basically a type of cancer. When people smoke, which a lot of the people here do, it increases the chances of getting this by about 50-55%. And then the chances of people dying from this are increased. We reckon that this item here is likely to be lagged entirely with asbestos insulation to keep the heat in on the water cylinder. So we found a number of these old type energy saving bulbs. A lot of these contain mercury, and these are just laid strewn across this area, broken, which means that if they did have mercury, then that would already have escaped into the landscape. And as you probably already know, mercury is not good for human health or just generally the environment, and being so close to the ocean. So here we've got a number of fridges and freezers. A lot of them are quite old and would most likely have had the CFCs, the chlorofluorocarbons, in them that have been banned in most countries across the world. Basically these have something called free radicals in them, and went a long way to destroying our ozone layer, which is why they were banned. and the ozone layer has started to mend up now, but that is because there are regulations on them. But obviously here they have just been dumped in a scrapyard. So there's still a lot of education to be done in Greenland. People have a slightly limited way and understanding sometimes. Here we've got a load of gas canisters that they used for their fuel, but just over here, also in the waste, we've got a number of old discarded bomb carcasses. You can see that from where they clipped onto the planes. They've got some prints, and these have all been left over from when the military has been here. They had a load of kids going into the mountains towards the ice cap and had brought back a mortar shell, which luckily nobody was harmed, but they've had to completely block that area out from anybody going and walking and hiking in that area, because they're really unsure as to whether everything has exploded. So a lot of the damage that is being done here is, yes, caused by the locals and the tourism coming in, but the solutions are there. The solutions could be done by local governments that are willing to help and international governments that are willing to help. And this sort of thing is happening throughout the world, where the local people cannot do it and need support. So we're out here in Greenland in the middle of November. It's warmer climates, and we've interviewed a few of the local population to get their opinions.
That's so stupid, oh my god.
Like, what the hell do I do? It's so confusing. But
Yeah,
it is shit, literally. Like, Jesus.
Thank you, Chris, for that. God. Thank you, Chris, for that expert opinion. This concludes our special report from the transport hub of Greenland.
Save the world, there's not a planet B.
Yeah! Well done, guys.